Okay, looks like we're live. What is good, everybody? I'm finally back in the rhythm of what I was doing. Finally got the street interviews done. Big weight off of my chest. Man, that was a long time coming, really. And one of the beautiful things about everything that's happened so far was just going on vacation and then having that clarity to quit my job, almost immediately. And it was a beautiful thing. My family was excited for me. My friends were excited for me. And I can't even blame them, dude. It was a rough spot I was in. Clearly kind of limited myself to something I shouldn't be doing. Or something as simple as that. Everybody says, like, don't quit your day job, but I actually had a good reason for it. And I guess with that being said, this is another AMA, Ask Me Anything. Post the street interviews. If you got anything you want to tell me about what I did or what you think I did wrong, let me know. I'd be curious. Let me know what you think. If you have any ideas moving forward you want me to ask people, I have a couple in the back of my head, or it's just in the front of my head, about what to do for the next street interview. So besides having the podcast scheduled for 3 with Ty Teaches Tech, somebody's got a couple thousand of followers on Instagram, I believe. We're going to dive into tech as well as how that relates. Probably more so, we're going to lean that in the direction of AI, what he thinks of it. I mean, obviously, as somebody who's much more involved in doing technology based things, especially with himself being a very high level, high end, high octane video editor, I would imagine he's got a lot of input that I would lack the perspective of, or I'm not in that group to know about. I guess I would say that. Um, and with that being said, I'm just gonna keep following the rhythm, the algorithm. For you, I'm not talking into the mic. So it's supposedly it's told that if you make a post and it gets traction, one of the top things you're supposed to do, at least, and this is in all digital creator space, is go live almost immediately right after. So I'm going to keep following that rhythm because the last couple of times I literally did do this thing. The algorithm picked up the video, and next thing you know, I'm waking up in the morning with a couple of thousand views on a video. That's beautiful. I love that. I want to keep this up, man. I'm so close to being monetized. I don't want to show you all the personal stuff, but I'm at like 3,300 public watch hours out of 4,000. I would imagine at the rate I'm going to hit the watch hours before I get to 1,000 subscribers, just because it seems like, because what I do is seen as so controversial, so like edgy, out there, aggressive, in your face, very opinionated. I would imagine that's why I'm not getting the same amount of like dump of subscribers. Some people just hate watching my videos. Like the one I did with Will Chamberlain, and Emma Vigilant, about her having the most insane statement about how it's just a bourgeois concern, to be concerned about your physical security on public transit is just insanity. Stuff like that I like to go right at and be like, hey, no, none of that. Like, that is insanity. And then to prove my point, not about the specific context, just to prove my point that you shouldn't be listening to these kinds of people, like the Majority Report with Sam Cedar and Emma. I watched this from a Destiny stream. Destiny's even going in and roasting them because they're acting like Lance owned Tim at any point in the debate, which he did not. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were heated points where both of them kind of looked a little like awry, but there was no point where you're like, ooh, Lance got him. Like, that's fake, dude. That's so fake. It's so dishonest. And it's like, to even kind of carry some of their positions. I mean, one of the ones they specifically went at was like, oh, Tim's just so concerned with what people do with their sexual organs. And it's like, bro, It's just the most dishonest and disingenuous way to engage with somebody, to be real with you. But yeah, so I have the Twitter. I'm on Twitter feed sitting right here. I've not like caught up to the news like literally at all today. So that's something I would like to do. I'd like to go through it, just run through my Twitter feed. Because that's how I get most of my news anyways. It's the only platform that respects people's ability to discern information for themselves, I guess is what you could say. I'll probably run this for an hour or two. I actually got to get back in the rhythm of doing voice auditions. Obviously, with what I'm doing and quitting my job how I did, it's not like I'm making money doing YouTube right now, which is why I've started to add like the support links with my Venmo and things. Well, too, like do not feel obligated whatsoever. It's only for people who actually have money to give and actually want to support because they actually believe in me. That's what I want people to be, supporting me for, not because they feel obliged to or because I'm like demanding them to. But the goal I think is I'm probably going to have to like do some Uber Eats delivery, small contracting type stuff. If I don't get one of these auditions to go right away, which is still all fine and dandy because it's still like I have free reign of my schedule, so maybe it'll take blocks of time out to go and make some money to make sure the bills are okay. But I'm willing to do that to be able to have the flexibility. Like I'm a very frugal individual, man. Like sometimes like I can go a couple days without eating food at intermittent fast a lot of the time. So I'm crazy like that. Maybe that's like, that's one thing I kind of like don't talk about a lot on the channel. It's like my personal training background, as well as just like, the overall bodybuilding industry and expertise that I have in that, just because like it's so redundant. There's some people who do it and it's like, what does that really add to my channel? Besides the fact that it's like, I'm not like, I don't look like Tim. I mean, I have a lot of the same opinions as him. I guess I kind of want to open up that space to that too. Plus, when you have people who are like more plates, more dates, why would you need, forgive me, man, why would you need anyone else to kind of give you details and facts? It's like once you find a good source of information from somebody like that, it's like you usually tend to stick with them until they prove you wrong. But I guess we should get into the news, right? Let's well, obviously we can start right here. Get rid of that, dude. See, and then like some of this stuff is what's insane, bro. Let me get a good pause on that. Should I extrapolate this up some? I probably should. Let me just move that up some. Does that look a little bit better? I feel like kinda, maybe. This is the girl who goes on the this is from Censored Man. Write a caption in the comments. Let's do this together. Monday Money Moves. This is Gorlock the Destroyer, who was on the Whatever podcast, who got blatantly flamed for the stuff that she was saying. So I'm actually going to listen. What are the captions? Let's see what we can get out of this.
Hi, besties. I just want to give a quick shout out to your dad for paying for my drinks. Just kidding. No, we're out today celebrating.
Just how uncomfortable must that be, dude? Like when you have that much weight hanging from the bottom of your face. Like my beard is uncomfortable and it's literally weightless. Can you imagine like having like actual like flesh like just woof. Man, I'm not trying to fat shame her. I mean, wink wink. But at the same time, it's like, dude, my caption is lose weight.
Big money moves. It's giving the yacht is gonna be this summer. It's giving
like that is a literal horror movie looking at me, or horror movie villain looking at me, dude. It's like if you gave Chucky like a bunch of food for a long time, and then like you kind of brought him to life. He wasn't a doll anymore. Like that's what this girl is right there. That's crazy.
Where's my Birkin? Period. Hi.
It's just too much sometimes. Like I can't. Like when I see this stuff, dude, it's just like, ugh, like it's gross. And then some people see it and they're like, well, like big girls have like, and it's okay. One, it's a dude, and two, like no, that's so unhealthy. That's so gross. That's so inhuman. You know, like can you think, like if you just go back in like history, right? Dude, the percentage of people who were able to even reach that size were some of the most like despised people in humanity, because you would have the amount of like riches and wealth you would need to be able to be that size for your standard size is just insane, dude. People hated you, but it was like a sign of like wealth or an aristocrat to be just like this big old blown up pufferfish. We're just going through my Twitter timeline, man. Just finding some information, some news, because I've been so behind it since going on vacation and then having the street interview set up, then trying to reschedule and make sure the podcast is going to have guests for the next week, on top of quitting, like I said at the beginning of this. So it's just been like crazy for me. Guys, bro, I don't think I followed this guy. Right now, the world needs outspoken men with Christian values. I'm talking high energy men who are as wise as serpents but harmless as doves. We need meek men who judge righteously and can call it how it is. Who's with me? I feel like I literally just had someone talk to me. I think it was Noah. You guys remember Noah Allen Smith from the podcast? I think he specifically said that to me. Maybe not on the podcast, but while we were talking about how there is specific verse calling for men who are as wise as serpents but harmless as doves. The connection to serpents, though, is what I was like unfamiliar with, because it was like I'm assuming serpents are viewed as evil and vile, based upon that was one of the first forms that you know the devil took place in. But I guess it's not. I guess there's like a bit more of a meaning to it, right? There's a bit more of a meaning to how the serpent survives, and I guess that is what it is trying to capitalize on. But let's keep going, man. Oh, hey, what's up, Donnie? I'm glad you enjoyed them, brother. I appreciate that. Oh, my typing skills are so ass. But let's keep going, right? So Phoenix Ammunition I follow because, one, they were on an episode of Timcast, on Timcast IRL. That's how I found out about him. He's like an ammunition based company, or they sell ammunition. I don't know about guns, I know for sure ammunition. Out of Michigan. It's either Michigan or Detroit, one of the two, and they're very, very political. Actually, now that I'm saying that, why don't we go ahead? Because they had a great letter that was sent to them by a police department in the area. Let me find it, man. Maybe I went past it. I might have already went past it. Maybe not. I hope I didn't go past it already. It was hilarious. It was a police department was literally reaching out for ammunition, and then his response was fire. Is this it? Yes. So the tweet literally is, F around and find out. Phoenix Ammunition, this was on May 12th. So listen to this. So I think he leaves out the department. So MTOA. Okay. That's what it is. Michigan Tactical Officers Association. So MTOA says, Dear Phoenix Ammo, I'm writing a request to request a donation of ammunition for the upcoming Michigan Tactical Officers Association training conference, which will be held in Traverse City next week. MTOA is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing training and support to law enforcement officers throughout the state of Michigan. As a nonprofit organization, we rely on the generous support of companies like yours to help us fulfill our mission and provide high quality yada yada yada. Here's the part. It would be greatly appreciated if you can donate any 9mm or 223 ammunition for use at our conference. Your donation will help ensure that our officers receive the best training possible, ultimately benefiting their communities. Thank you for consideration. Da, 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 da. Sincerely, Adam, MTOA representative. So this is Phoenix's response, which was beast mode. Adam, I'd be happy to donate ammunition so long as the MTOA can provide the following. 1. A face-to-face apology from every Michigan police officer who enforced the COVID lockdown orders, including the Novi police officer who came into my business and reported us to the health department for not wearing masks. I'm assuming Novi must be a town or a city or a township. Anyways, two, a written signed statement from the Michigan State Police, Oakland County Sheriff's Office, and the MTOA pledging your refusal to enforce any red flag gun confiscation or any other future gun confiscation programs instituted by either the state of Michigan or the federal government, including a refusal to assist the BATFE in any firearm enforcement efforts. There's so many different departments that are just specifically related to guns, dude. It's crazy. Like, how many laws can there be? How many different like rule sets can you have, state to state? All these different like just it's crazy, man. But it goes on. Anything less than that is unacceptable, and I certainly will not be a part of enhancing your training so that it can be turned against the American public in a way that it already has. I think you'll be better off soliciting donations from large multinational corporations with no morals or principles. That seems to be a better fit. I'm sure you guys will have a wonderful, productive time up in Traverse City at the Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. Seeing as how you literally picked the most expensive hotel in the state, I wonder if you should have allocated your budget a little more judiciously so you could afford the equipment you need to actually train your effing officers. But hey, nothing like a weekend at the Grand Traverse Spa, am I right? What a joke. Buy your own shit. Better yet, don't. The last thing we need is more tactical Timmies running around pretending like they're back in Afghanistan. Maybe you should have considered that before you went whole hog deep-throating Gretchen Whitmer's high heels 2 years ago. Have a great conference, and be sure to let me know if you can comply with the terms above. Like, ooh, that's good stuff, man. That is good stuff. It literally says, F around and find out. Now, this is what I did not see. Update, I got a response. This may actually bear fruit after all. There's no doubting the passion in your responses. With that kind of passion could cause the debate to go viral and in turn be great for both sides. I'll bring it up in our meeting and see what we can do. Thanks for the dialogue. Hey, dude. Like, I'll be honest. That's a better response than what I thought I was about to read. I thought I was about to be like, okay, thank you. We won't contact you anymore or something like that. But the fact that they want to push it, they want to make that debate viral, they want to make that happen. That's crazy. So I want to know then, I wonder if there's been any follow-up. That's crazy. So let's see. Let's scroll through up here. You got pulled over. The cop handed you a ticket and flipped this bad boy around asking you for a tip. Ah, that's lovely. Oh, he had a spaces, it must have been. Now that I missed it. I didn't see any of that. Again, because I'm like out here doing all this different stuff. I'm not paying attention as much as I was when I wasn't. So yeah, let's just go ahead and read some of Phoenix's timeline because I, with great pleasure, share a lot of these sentiments that he does. Honestly, Elon Musk, I would really like to believe you feel this way, but I can't possibly do so when you continue to prevent firearms companies from paying to advertise on Twitter. Seems like you don't like guns and you also don't like money. And he's saying that in response to a meme that Elon tweeted, which is explaining constitutional amendments. You can see that on screen here. I need to make this like a little bit bigger, don't I? Sorry, y'all. The First Amendment is for sharing memes with the friends. The Second Amendment is for when they try and stop me from sharing memes with friends. And it's just like a decked out meme frog. What is his name? What is that frog's name supposed to be? Doesn't he have a name? Maybe I'm just dumb. Actually, I can zoom out a little bit, can't I? Oh yeah, I may screen move us over here. little too far. That's pretty. Alrighty. Which is true. I mean, what do you think, Elon, man? Elon's out here doing all this different stuff, but with that WEF cherry picked, bro, it gives me the heebie-jeebies, and I really don't trust it. I really don't. Let's go back to the timeline. Enough of Phoenix. Yeah, take me to the top to get rid of that ugly thing. Pepe, you're totally right. I'm an idiot. Pepe the Frog. I'm such an idiot. If you don't follow Aristophanes on Twitter, though, you definitely should. Aristophanes actually has some really brilliant points. Yeah, you're totally right. I was just an idiot. I should have known that, too. And look at what is this? This black activist was owned so hard on Twitter they ended up in the ICU and mental ward after the space. This is the type of idiots we're up against. What? I don't want to listen to that. I don't know what that is. NBA Finals. Do I really follow the NBA? There's no way, dude. Oh, it's an ad. Not interested. Get rid of it. Nobody should be watching the NBA. I love basketball, but they destroyed that. They destroyed it for me. They're even more broke than the NFL. Can you imagine that? Old school RuneScape. 5 hours ago, the early sailing tech demo revealed that it's possible. Getting excited yet? Currents, winds, collision, ship sizes, and frequently asked questions. I am very low-key excited about this, to be honest. Let's actually go take it here. Yeah. Sorry for the bright lights, my word. But I like get sent to God from a white screen. Okay. I need to make this see, I always gotta change it, but I got the hotkey on it. Move this over, yeah. Make it look nice and pretty, yo. Adding a new skill, skilling navigation mechanics. This is old school RuneScape related. If anybody wants to learn about the ships with me. Because I'm honestly curious. I'm excited for a new skill in RuneScape. I would love to have a new skill in RuneScape. But I don't want them to destroy the beautiful ecosystem they've created. As much as people want a brand new skill because it's been a bit stagnant on the skill and content, they've been dumping plenty of content into the game. But in terms of like anything brand new like that, is you see, Donnie Brook, you said, I really only watch combat sports and I don't see Uncle Dana going woke anytime soon. He never will. He never will. And I think mainly that reason is because he is as self-made as the individuals such as like Elon Musk, people who are like in the Trump space, who are self-made men who were like have enough money that they're like, I'll lose money, but my opinion matters more. I agree with that. I need to watch some more UFC, man. I feel like there's actually been some good fights that's been happening here recently. Like I know what was one that happened a few weeks ago, maybe in a month or so at this point, when Israel I can never say his last name right. When Israel did the dance on the sun, everybody got mad about it, even though it was like that's what happened to him a while back. From his son laughed at him from when he got slept. I like that back and forth in the combat sports. Okay, I got off track again. The new skill refinement. So it's still in the refinement stage. Table of contents. Inventory is full. Topic 1. Navigational mechanics and C scale. We're kicking off refinement with the topic, so it's most important to navigational mechanics. We're on the topic of navigating. It seems only natural that we discuss where you'll be navigating to, so we'll talk about the new C map too. Before we get into the details, it's worth zipping back to our initial refinement blog about how the process will work. Interesting. Welcome to the first step of refining the sailing skill. We'll be covering the topics of navigation in the sea. Yeah, no, if you're not interested in old school RuneScape, it's probably bore the hell out of people. I'll just go through it pretty quickly then. Refinement, navigation, the sea, the core words. I mean, the imagery looks pretty good. Oh, I see here. Oh, nice. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. It's gonna be a lot more in depth than I thought it would be. Okay, save that for another time. A lot more reading than I thought it was gonna be. Oh, John Fetterman. Senator John Fetterman asked a serious question today, and many on Twitter can only mock him for stuttering. Please refrain from attacking someone for having verbal effect. It's so disingenuous. What are you saying? What are you saying, John? Start from the beginning.
I'll give you an example. The Republicans want to give a work requirement for SNAP. You know, for a hungry family has to have this kind of penalties or some kinds of working required. Shouldn't you have a working requirement after we sell your bank with billions of your bank? Because they seem to be more preoccupied than SNAP and requirements for works for.
I mean, why wouldn't people have a problem with him stuttering? Well, it's a literal senator who's supposed to be legislating, and I don't understand what he's saying. Especially when you're talking about things that are super specific, and you're bringing up all these institutions that people aren't familiar with. Like, the least that you can do is speak concisely and clearly. Like, my word, how is that even a hard ask? Oh, we love the Matt Walsh show. What Target is doing is is this about like how they're doing it with the kids' clothing? I hate this. Is this a full episode of the Daily Wire with Matt Walsh? All right, let's react to this in real time, man. Forgot that he was doing this. He said Target is calling our bluff, but just like any other company leader business, we did it with Bud Light. Now it's Target's turn. Ooh, so 2 hours ago, okay, so we're boycotting Target. I'm down. I don't even shop there. Let me clean this up here because we're going to have this video. Put it here in the corner.
Target is once again getting Pride Month kicked off a few weeks early by unveiling their ever-expanding selection of LGBT-themed merchandise, with much of it specifically aimed at children. The Daily Wire reports, quote, Target unveiled a number of clothing items and accessories, including apparel and books meant for babies and young children as part of the retail behemoth's latest.
Which I'm imagining, I mean, forgive me, I always say this from a point of I am always on social media, like a hawk, seeing all this stuff. But if you've not seen this stuff, man, there's been so many of these videos. We were even me and my fiance were at Target in South Carolina. And you go to the boys section, and it looks like girls, like the girls section. I mean, even like the most neutral color you can get is gray, but it'll have like a small like rainbow pinstripe flag on the back somewhere. It's crazy. It's insane. This is what I mean by like the peripheral elements of like all of this emasculation of traditional like values, the removal of like legitimate logic, based morals. This is what I mean. Like on all elements. Slowly eroding any bit of what makes masculinity or tradition or what holds those values cohesively together is getting literally like snuffed out. And with the help of Target, because Target will sit there and they'll line up and they'll be like, yep, we'll dump all these clothes because what does it mean to them? What does it mean to them? It's probably no difference, honestly. Or maybe they are taking a loss. Maybe they are taking a loss by like buying onto these new clothes. But anyways.
Latest Pride collection. In addition to the adult collection, which included a t-shirt emblazoned with the words queer, 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 a short sleeve bright green boiler suit, and a hoodie which declares not a phase, the company offered several items meant for kids and babies. The store is selling onesies and small shirts with phrases like being proud and just be you and feel the love as well.
Which I should have stated that more so than just boys' clothes looking like girls' clothes, they're specifically itemized and branded with Pride stuff, Pride material.
As well as rainbow-colored leggings, tutu skirts, and jumpers. Target likewise offers bibs that say, I am proud of you always, rainbow sandals and swimwear, and socks with various LGBTQ-related themes. Shoppers with pets can purchase rainbow backpacks, chew toys, treats, leashes, collars, and cat scratchers. The retailer has garnered controversy for several years with Pride collections meant to commemorate the June LGBTQ festivals. Items sold last year included breast binders, packing underwear, and other offerings meant for self-identified transgender individuals, drawing backlash against the company. Now, I should also mention that they're along with these products for kids, they're also selling LGBT children's books and all the rest of it. And if you go into a Target right now, you're going to see all that. As soon as you walk in the store, you're going to see all of that front and center, proudly on display. The chest binders and the packing underwear, those are items that are still on offer this year. Here's a video posted by somebody who seems to be trying to defend Target against claims that it's selling these kinds of things for children. So this is someone she's not upset about this, it seems. She's trying to defend Target. And but in the process of trying to defend Target, she actually exposes what Target is doing accidentally. Let's watch.
I'm sorry I chose you again. I just needed to do the bathing suit the last.
Yeah, I think this is actually the exact video that I saw that I was like, oh my gosh. Like they went next level with this stuff.
Last bit. I found the tuck bathing suits, the tuck friendly bathing suits. So if you need a women's bathing suit and you have a little extra meat down there that you got to hide, you have one option. That is the only bathing suit that I found in the entire store, and it's in the Pride section. It's not in the kids section, women's section, boys section, baby section. It is in the Pride section. It was the only one I could find. And I did have another adult with me checking all the tags so that I didn't have to stay in the store for 9 hours.
Okay, so tuck-friendly bathing suits, if you have, as she says, a little extra.
Tuck-friendly bathing suit. Like, what does that mean, man? And like, and still have people who are like, it's not happening.
Extra meat down there. But they aren't in the kids section, she hastens to add. They're in the Pride section. They're not in the kids section. Yeah. It's just the Pride section that they've set up, right?
So I'm assuming that at some point there won't even be a kids section. It'll just be Pride. If you want to get your kids anything, it goes to the Pride section. So the toys section, they'll get rid of that. Just pull that sign down one letter at a time. It'll just be the P section. Now it's the Per section. Now it's the Pride. It's just one step at a time, man. One step at a time. They'll get you kids.
In the front of the store. Which may be true, but we can also clearly see that the bathing suits, though not in the kids section, are available in kids sizes. Either those are sizes for kids or for very, very, very small adults.
Yeah, Donnie said, it means the world has gone insane. Yes. I think even more so, Donnie, the world went insane in 2016, 2017-ish, like that. And we're like 4 years after the insanity has settled in. Like that's where we're at.
Which I guess is the excuse they're going to go with. No, this is not. This is just for extremely undersized adults. I mean, you could buy it for your kid, but that's not what it's meant for. That's obviously what it's meant for. Which means that if you're a parent who wants...
He just looks like he always wants to sigh. Like every 3 seconds, Matt Walsh goes, and then he doesn't, and he keeps talking. It's actually hilarious.
...to dress your son up like a girl and put him in a girl's bathing suit, Target has items especially tailored to those, quote, needs. Now, it should go without saying that this is far, far worse than anything Bud Light did. Target is specifically marketing products for children.
And I would agree with that, right? You tell me if you disagree, but I think 100%. Like if I was going to pick between who has committed the worser, who has committed the worse of the marketing decisions. Now, albeit Target's main market share probably isn't in the clothing that it sells, though. So if they take a hit because people are boycotting Target clothing, I don't know how much of an impact that'll be. I mean, you have to boycott Target completely and everything that it stands for.
Children and putting them on display right in the front of their stores for all to see. Target is actively trying to recruit kids into the LGBT camp. And Target feels safe doing this even after the Bud Light fiasco because they assume that they can, for one thing, rely on the ubiquity of their brand to cover them. There are Targets everywhere. Of course, Target isn't just, it's not just one product. in the refrigerated section of the grocery store that you can walk past and get another product. No, they sell all kinds of items from clothing to groceries and everything in between. So to cut them out, to boycott Target, would require a level of discipline and sacrifice on the part of consumers. Now,
okay, before he says anything else, to me, I don't think it requires, okay, maybe it requires discipline if like the only grocery store nearby you is a Dollar General and Target. But outside of that, like I'm here in Columbus, like if I don't want to go to Target, I'll take the 2 extra minutes to go to a Walmart or go to a Kroger or a Kmart if they exist near you. I don't know if they're still in business. I don't think it takes that much discipline to take a stance like that. What do you say, Donnie? A middle-aged white woman will never boycott Target. Unfortunately, I agree, but at the same time, most of the middle-aged women aren't listening to Matt Walsh, I would imagine. I think that is the left's demographic. It is white liberal women who are past their prime and are single, which is a growing demographic. And it's clear that they're trying to grow that demographic with everything they're trying to push. They clearly don't want women locked down behind loyal men or committed men, because it's clearly growing their graphic of a bunch of women who are just always triggered and upset and Karens all the time. That's what they want women to act like. Relatable.
it's only a very small amount of discipline and only the meagerest sacrifice, but still it's more than what was required to ditch Bud Light. So that's the problem Bud Light ran into, is that they discovered that they are incredibly expendable and we can ditch them and you could buy a different beer and there's really no sacrifice at all. It requires no extra effort. It's just opening the refrigerator at the gas station and rather than reaching here, reaching over there for a different beer. That's all. That's the only effort. And lots of people were willing to do that. But for Target, what they're counting on is that it's not quite so easy, because if you have a Target right down the street and it's got everything that you need and you're a busy parent or something, if you decide I'm not going to go to Target, that might mean that rather than driving 12 minutes down the street, now you got to drive 17 minutes down the street to go to a different store.
Yeah, and I don't think that requires discipline to do a 17-minute change like that. It's like telling them to boycott pumpkin spice. That's what I mean, man. That's what I mean. Like all of these women, like, and you know plenty of women who are like relatable, like I can't, like my pumpkin spice. To me, it's just like, I don't understand how so many women can be so similar. You know? Like the diversity in women is extremely lacking, particularly like white women. And they never would boycott pumpkin spice, dude. They'd be like breaking down in tears, like, "Oh my God, please don't take it away from me." Clutching pearls and stuff like that.
And that's at least more of a sacrifice than is required to not drink Bud Light anymore. But still, Target needs our business. It needs the business of the people that it is angering intentionally with its LGBT indoctrination. And now it's essentially calling our bluff. The company is making the assumption that we will be satisfied with our victory over Bud Light and kind of, leave it there. We have that one trophy on the wall, and they're assuming, and just like many other corporations, come Pride Month, they're going to assume that we're going to be satisfied with that.
Right.
It's not an unreasonable assumption. Even with Bud Light, there was a sizable contingent of conservatives who said that we should ignore that issue. They said that they were tired of hearing about it. It's just a culture war distraction, they complained. Let's focus on the economy and taxes instead. If multi-billion-dollar corporations are actively trying to brainwash and recruit our children into the LGBT cult, why should that matter? What difference does the culture make anyway? The answer is that it makes all the difference. As I've tried to explain recently on this show and many other times, the culture is the stuff that our country is made of. It's what we are all living in. It's what our children are inheriting from us. And now they are inheriting a society where major corporations celebrate LGBT pride by selling chest binders and tucking bathing suits. We do have the power to put a stop to it. It only takes a little bit of discipline and the tiniest amount of sacrifice. Corporations who cross the line to this egregious extent should be made to pay for it. And that is a penalty that we can extract.
Facts.
Because there are millions and millions and millions of Americans in this country who are disgusted by this.
Facts.
Who do not want to, they don't want to have the rainbow stuff vomited all over them the moment that they walk into a store. They especially don't want that to happen when they're bringing their kids with them into the store, as so many parents do.
So now let's convert that into the courage it takes to have the discipline and conviction to no longer stand for this kind of stuff. I know he's saying like all these conservatives are against it, yada, 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 but it's still like, you still don't see the activism from the right that's necessary to make these things happen. Now, don't get me wrong, the Bud Light thing is a great push. Beautiful. Now let's do it again and again and again and again and again. Do conservatives have that? Can they do that? We'll find out.
And if even a sizable minority of those millions said, you know what, I'm not shopping at Target anymore, I'm done with it.
Right.
That would be a major blow to that company because they need our business. This is a punishment that we can impose.
Yep.
You just have to put in the effort.
Should impose.
And understand why it's important. We did it with Bud Light. Now I think it's Target's turn. Now let's get to our 5 headlines.
Dang. I love that they're putting the Matt Walsh show on Twitter now. I think that's awesome. Oh, this is the full episode right here? No way.
America, women.
There is not expanding.
Let me find. Just start from the beginning then. It wasn't the intro. I thought it would be the intro. Oh, that's dope. I'm gonna have it like right here though. Let me blow it up a little bit more. Like right here is perfect. No, I'll make it a bit smaller. I don't want to get content ID'd. That's probably perfect right there. Okay.
Her petty complaints about her husband ain't that bad, but it's close.
I hate that I just missed it. Like, oh, come on. You gotta be better than that. I don't know if I'll watch the whole thing in its entirety.
Today on the Matt Walsh Show, did Miller Lite manage to put out an ad even more obnoxious than Bud Light's Dylan Mulvaney campaign? Maybe it's not quite that bad, but it's close. Meanwhile, Target is celebrating Pride Month early with an elaborate array of LGBT-themed merchandise, with much of it aimed directly at children. Also, a 300-page report confirms what those of us with brains already knew, which is that the Trump-Russia collusion narrative was a hoax all along.
That's another piece of big news that I forgot to put in this headline. Yeah, the Durham investigation basically concluding that there was no reason to go after Trump and the whole thing was a scam. Yeah, that thing.
And the Atlantic interviews a late-term abortionist who proudly admits to murdering developed and viable infants both inside and outside the womb. In our daily cancellation, a wife goes on TikTok to air her petty complaints about her husband publicly. The video goes viral. What can we learn from all of this? All of that and more today on The Matt Walsh Show. President Trump.
Would you consider Matt Walsh country? I wonder where he's from. I don't know much about his background. It's a very country music intro. I don't know if that's more of an appeal to the audience or if he actually is that way.
Recently issued a warning from his Mar-a-Lago home. Quote, our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat in 200 years. There are 3 reasons the central banks are dumping the U.S. dollar: inflation, deficit spending, and our insurmountable national debt. The fact is, there is one asset that has withstood famine, wars, and political and economic upheaval dating back to biblical times, and that is gold. I've bought gold from Birch Gold in preparation for uncertain economic times. You can trust them too, and you can have your own gold in a tax-sheltered retirement.
I don't have any gold, unfortunately. I would love to have some.
Account with the help of Birch Gold. That's right, Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. The best part is you don't pay a penny out of pocket. When currencies fail, gold is a safe haven. How much more time does the dollar have? You can protect your savings with gold. Birch Gold has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of happy customers. You can find out why if you text Walsh to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. Again, text Walsh to 989898 today.
When am I going to get my sponsor?
As Bud Light continues to suffer the repercussions of their experiment with wokeness, another ad campaign from a different beer company has gone viral. Miller Lite tried its own hand at woke virtue signaling in a commercial that was first released actually a few weeks before the now infamous Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light can. And in their case, Miller Lite did not alienate the vast majority of their customers for the sake of
Donnybrook, I'm not sure if he is country, but I guarantee Daily Wire has him assigned a stylist for his image. That's what I was thinking. I'm thinking more so that this is his show's probably tailored by a design production officer, something like that. I'd be curious to look into his background actually right after this.
Of appealing to a tiny fraction of trans people. Instead, they alienated the vast majority of their customers for the sake of appealing to a tiny fraction of feminists who were offended by beer ads in the past. And here's what they came up with. Watch.
Here's a little known fact. Women were among the very first to brew beer ever. From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing. Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis. Wow.
I just checked it out. He used to work for a radio host in Delaware and Kentucky as well. So it looks like he's from from Georgetown, Delaware is where he started. Then he moved over on to Kentucky. Maybe he is country.
Look at this wild. It's time beer made it up to women. So today, Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just their but the whole beer industry's Miller Lite has been scouring the internet for all this and buying it back so that they can turn it into good for women brewers. Literally, good How, you ask? Ladies, take it away.
First, we turn the bad into compost. Then we feed compost to worms. Push out beautiful fertilizer. That good helps farm.
Bathing suits for beer advertisements?
Yeah, I can't stand watching.
Is that how it worked?
Take that away.
Or did those women respond to casting calls knowing what they were getting into and choosing of their own free will and volition to participate in these ad campaigns?
And that was my point on the video, bro. It's just like, that's a market for women that they dominate in, particularly when it comes to profession. And then it's like to tear them down, to pixelate their faces, just doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah, because you said I don't see your super chat on or those links you mentioned. Probably it's not going to be in this live. I don't think I put it in the description of this live because I'm stupid. On my previous videos, on like my last recent ones, like my street interview one, and then the one before that, I put the support in that area too. I don't actually think I have enough subscribers or watch hours to do super chats yet, or at least I don't think it's been opened up on my YouTube studio. If I get that chance, brother, trust me, I'll turn that on.
And if the answer to the latter question is yes, then why would feminists complain?
Country adjacent.
So I'm a little confused here because on the one hand, we're told that things like OnlyFans and the porn industry and quote unquote sex work are empowering for women, allowing them to harness and wield their sexuality to their own benefit. And on the other hand, we're told that bikini ads for beer companies are demeaning and dehumanizing. So
yes. Which
is it? I mean, it certainly can't be both. There's no way that OnlyFans can be empowering while a bikini ad for a beer, a beer company is dehumanizing.
Right.
The answer seems to change depending on the situation. Sometimes sexualization is good and it's empowering, and sometimes it's degrading.
It depends on
all told, feminism basically sells two options to modern women. Either they can be empowered and independent by becoming sexual objects, glorified masturbatory aids for men, or they could be empowered and be independent by becoming cold and angry and resentful of wrong supposedly done to them in the past. These are the two paths that feminism presents. Women are urged to...
But it's like, well, me and Donnie were talking about this, dude. It's the cyclical, the lack of logic in the mob cult mind, where it's just whatever the tribe says goes, no matter what kind of logical fallacy exists in their arguments. It's quite incredible.
Choose one path and then jump to another one, someone at random, just as long as they never search for a third path, a different option where they are neither sexual objects nor resentful, bitter harpies. There is that other path that exists, but modern feminism does not want women to choose that path. Of course, the question still remains as to how any of this will help Miller Lite sell its product. The majority of their customers are men under the age of 45. And just a little bit of a marketing insight I can give you. The reason why in the past beer companies used attractive women in bikinis to sell their products is because they're selling the product mostly to men. It's men who want it, and men also enjoy looking at women in bikinis. Attractive women anyway. So that was the idea behind it. I mean, pretty simple, but that was the concept. It was back in the days when companies had this idea that you should advertise to your audience and your customer base by giving them things that they want instead of lecturing them. That's back in the old days. That was kind of the marketing, the most popular marketing strategy. And all of their customers, Miller Lite, both men and women, are undiscerning beer drinkers simply looking for a cheap adult beverage option that they can buy in bulk.
Right.
These are people who willingly buy and consume what is essentially alcoholic goat urine. It's unlikely that they're going to be able to significantly expand their customer base with this girl power routine. But it's not about expanding their customer base, obviously. It's about signaling their allegiance to the woke religion. Which also explains the other woke corporate campaign that's getting a lot of attention this week, and that is from Target. Target is once again getting Pride Month kicked off a few weeks early by unveiling their ever-expanding selection of LGBT-themed merchandise, with much of it specifically aimed at children. The Daily Wire reports, quote, Target unveiled a number of clothing items and accessories, including apparel and books meant for babies and young children as part of the retail behemoth's latest Pride collection. In addition to the adult collection, which included a t-shirt emblazoned with the words queer, 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 a short-sleeved bright green boiler suit, and a hoodie which declares not a phase, the company offered several items meant for kids and babies. The store is selling onesies and small shirts with phrases like being proud.
Yeah, we just watched this. Let me go past this part. Let me get to where he said the 5 headlines of the day. Oh, don't make me have to refresh it, man. Don't make me be big sad like that. It's my fault for trying to flip this around. It's about right here.
Brainwash and recruit our children into the LGBT cult. Why should that matter? What difference does the culture make anyway? The answer is that it makes all the difference.
Correct.
As I've tried to explain recently on this show and many other times, the culture is the stuff that our country is made of. It's what we are all living in. It's what our children are inheriting.
I appreciate you, Donnie. Remind me. No, you don't need to remind me. After this live, I'm going to give you, I'm going to swipe on your subscriber status and give you standard moderator privileges. Because you help me so much.
From us.
I appreciate it.
And now they are inheriting a society where major corporations celebrate LGBT pride by selling chest binders and tucking bathing suits. We do have the power to put a stop to it. It only takes a little bit of discipline and the tiniest amount of sacrifice.
Yep.
Just have to put in the effort.
Here we go.
And understand why it's important. We did it with Bud Light.
Man, I cannot wait for Tucker Carlson to
Target's
put the full
turn.
episodes up like this.
Now let's get to our 5 headlines.
5 headlines of the day.
Did you know that our friends at Genucel have upgraded their most popular package to feature their top-selling deep firming vitamin C serum plus ultra retinol moisturizer with natural retinol alternative? I bet you didn't know that, but now you do. Right now, you can take advantage of this limited time package for 70% off. Why waste time and money to go get work done on your face when you can get Genucel skincare shipped right to your door? Genucel's secret is a family recipe for over 20 years that makes it safe for all skin types and perfect for both men and women. Made by a compounding pharmacist in small batches and is always safe, cruelty-free, and natural. You know, my hair and makeup artist, Cherokee, is a lot like a lizard. Any chance she gets, she'll be out laying on a rock, sunbathing in the middle of a desert somewhere. But to make sure she doesn't have skin that looks as cracked and dusty as the desert ground, she uses Genucel's wide range of products to keep her skin looking young. Go to Genucel.com/Walsh and try Genucel's most popular package for 70% off, featuring Genucel's Ultra Retinol and Genucel's Firming Serum as well. You get a complimentary Spa Essentials box with every package order, plus a free upgrade to priority shipping. You can get all of that. You can get it now, but you got to go to Genucel.com/Walsh. That's Genucel.com/Walsh. Well, I just saw this as we were going to the 5 headlines, so I'll mention it here at the top, related to the Miller Lights campaign, and they put out a statement in reaction to the backlash against this commercial. The statement says, this video was about two things: worm poop and saying that women shouldn't be forced to mud wrestle in order to sell beer. Neither of those things should be remotely controversial, and we hope beer drinkers can appreciate.
What? Women shouldn't be forced to mud wrestle in order to sell beer. What are you talking about? Even the photos they use, these women are just like standing up like Brazilian models, dude. You know, taking sunbathing suits that I'm sure they wanted to be a part of to show off themselves, for one. I mean, no matter how narcissistic they may be, but they're using their they're using their best qualities about them to sell something. It's crazy.
Appreciate the humor and ridiculousness of this video from back in March. Oh, it's just a joke. We were just kidding. Now they're nervous now. Miller Lite is nervous. That's why they put a statement out. If not for the Bud Light thing.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys know this either. The video is still up. It's not been deleted, but it's unlisted. So I think the only people who've been able to even read it or look at it or see it has been if they initially commented on the video or they left a like or something like that. That's the only way someone can you can get access back to it, because they left it unlisted. If
Bud Light had never happened and they put out this commercial and conservatives were making fun of it, Miller Lite would ignore the backlash. They wouldn't say anything about it. They just ignore it. The fact that they're addressing it means that they're nervous because they don't want to be the next Bud Light.
Right.
And they're also now falling back on, it's just a joke. We're kidding around. First of all, nothing that is tailored to feminists has ever been funny, intentionally. I mean, it's funny unintentionally sometimes, but there's no such thing as I have proven him.
Prove me if I'm wrong. Prove me if I'm completely wrong. Completely wrong. I still have yet to find a woman comedian. Forget the feminist stuff. Just a female comedian who can consistently make me laugh. And that's no diss, dude. That is no diss. I'm just saying for myself. I don't have a woman comedian who I can think of off the top of my head and be like, oh yeah, dude, like I like her. Like none come to mind. I'll tell you a comedian who I love. It's Ryan Long. If you don't know who Ryan Long is, you should follow him, dude. He's hilarious.
And also, we can agree. We can agree that women should not be forced to mud wrestle in order to sell beer. I totally agree with that. Women should not be forced to put on bikinis and mud wrestle for any reason. I cannot think of a reason, a justification for forcing women to do that.
But to even insinuate that was the initial reasoning for how it happened in the first place is just, it's so dishonest. It's so dishonest. It's not like they came forward with a blatant lie. It's that in their statement about your contention with it, they make something dishonest, and that's why it's so incestuous sometimes.
So we can agree on that. But women were not forced to do it. See, this is the issue. They were not forced to do it. They chose. They were paid, and they chose to participate in these kinds of ads. I don't think it's empowering. That's not my position. But my position is consistent. I don't think running around in a bikini to sell beer, I don't consider that empowerment. Yeah. But I also don't consider it empowering to be on OnlyFans or in the porn industry or doing quote unquote sex work.
Right.
I would say that none of that is empowering.
Right.
But on the left, they as always try to have it both ways, and it doesn't make any sense. All right.
Yep.
I'll read this report from the Daily Wire, and I'm going to read a pretty good chunk of it because I think that this explains it better than I would if I was just going off the top of my head on it. But Special Counsel John Durham, who was tasked by former Attorney General Bill Barr to examine the propriety of the FBI's investigation of President Trump, released a 320-page report.
320 pages, dude. Like, can you think of that? Like, realistically, like how much about how a scam, about essentially a government funded and propagated scam. How much more of your taxpayer dollars went to this ridiculous report?
Report on Monday that found that the FBI had no evidence to support a Trump-Russia scandal when it began its investigation, and found, quote, sobering differences in how it approached the Trump probe compared to other politically sensitive investigations.
Right.
So this report, in other words, tells us what any sensible person knew all along. There was no reason, there was no actual evidence-based reason to investigate Trump for being somehow tied to Russia or some kind of secret Russian double agent.
All because he made a call about our current president being like, what was this video I saw? What is this whole Burisma prosecutor? Like, what is this? And it's so
most of us
angering.
knew that from the beginning, and we also knew that the intelligence community was treating Trump very differently from how they treat other politicians and powerful people who are caught up in scandals far worse than this fake one that Trump was accused of. Yep. Reading some more, it said the FBI immediately opened a full investigation based on a brief note from an Australian diplomat recounting that he had met with George Papadopoulos, a volunteer with the Trump campaign, in which he mentioned that Russia might have information negative to Hillary Clinton. Quote, at the time of the opening of Crossfire Hurricane, the FBI did not possess any intelligence showing that anyone associated with the Trump campaign was in contact with Russian intelligence officers at any point during the campaign. So they launched this entire investigation, but there was no intelligence. There was not a single shred of evidence that would justify the investigation to begin with.
They push it so,
because that's the whole point. You know, investigation is not supposed to be, hey, let's just at random look into this person to see if we can find any crimes. There's supposed to be an evidence-based reason to open the investigation to begin with, and in this case, there was not.
Yeah.
The probe later relied on the Steele dossier, which came from a circular loop of people with little insight into Russia, except that some of them had been on the FBI's radar for possible misconduct or ties to Russian intelligence in their own right, it said. The FBI knew it was nothing but rumor and speculation, according to the report.
Yep.
Quote, upon receipt of unevaluated intelligence information from Australia, the FBI swiftly opened the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, in particular at the direction of Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. Deputy Assistant Director for Counterintelligence Peter Strzok opened Crossfire Hurricane immediately. Strzok, at a minimum, had pronounced hostile feelings towards Trump. And so here we're told that not only did they open this investigation with no evidence, but the people that were involved at the highest levels in this investigation had a partisan bias against Trump.
Even if you go to the police and you're like, hey, like this thing happened, they're going to ask you for like some kind of proof. You think they just like open up an investigation because you're like, hey, like this happened. They're like, oh, right away, we're on it. There's no, how can you have any ounce of credibility between the government when they do these things like this? And then expect the average citizen when they get pulled over for a speeding ticket that's like $200 some on top of like whatever seatbelt ticket they may get. It's just like, dude, you are holding no accountability to anybody at all. And I guarantee this is one of those stories where the left will have no response, no comment. It'll fall out of the news cycle because everyone will just go, shh, because that's the PR strategy. Right? So Dylan Mulvaney, he went silent for what, 3-4 weeks after the Bud Light thing? The PR strategy. Just hide till the bad stuff goes away, then come back out and keep pushing what you were doing. Because people are so dumb. People are so ignorant and apathetic to things that it's like, if you ignore it for long enough and then just keep doing what you're doing, there's a good chance that people just forget about it. And that is sad. That's American goldfish attention span for you right there.
Again, not new information. This was anyone with 2 eyes and ears and a brain could see this from the beginning.
Yeah.
The matter was opened as a full investigation without ever having spoken to the persons who provided the information. Further, the FBI did so without, 1, any significant review of its own intelligence databases, 2, collection and examination of any relevant intelligence from other U.S. intelligence entities, 3, interviews of witnesses essential to understand the raw information that it had received, or 4, using any of the standard analytical tools typically employed by the FBI in evaluating raw intelligence. None of that was done before they launched this investigation. Had it done so, the FBI would have learned that their own experienced Russian analysts had no information about Trump being involved with Russian leadership officials, nor were others in sensitive positions at the CIA, the NSA, the Department of State aware of such evidence concerning the subject. In addition, FBI records prepared by Strzok in February and March of 2017 show that at the time of the opening of Crossfire Hurricane, the FBI had no information in its holdings indicating that at any time during the campaign had anyone in the Trump campaign had been in contact with any Russian intelligence officials.
In 2017, bro. That's what, 6 years ago now at this point? A little bit beyond 6 years. And they're still pushing it. So fake, man.
In the 18 months leading up to the 2016 election, the FBI was required to deal with a number of proposed investigations that had the potential of affecting the election. In each of those instances, the FBI moved with considerable caution. In one such matter, FBI headquarters and department officials required defensive briefings to be provided to Clinton and other officials or candidates who appeared to be targets of foreign interference, it said. In another, the FBI elected to end an investigation after one of its longtime and valuable CHSs went beyond what was authorized and made an improper and possibly illegal financial contribution to the Clinton campaign on behalf of a foreign entity as a precursor to a much larger donation being contemplated. All right, it's a 300-page report thereabouts. You can read, much of it yourself if you want to.
You didn't read it either.
Although it will tell you what we already know, which again is that there was no evidence to justify this investigation. There was never any reason to even entertain the notion that Trump was in cahoots with Russia. And also that this is not how they've treated other people like Hillary Clinton, for example. And it's good that this report, after all these years, is now being published and we can see it, I guess. It is good. It's good that we can see it. Yeah. But it's also deeply frustrating because we also know that this is it. Right. Like, this is all that's going to happen. The report is published. It's 300 plus pages long. Most people won't read it. Especially the people, the only people who will pay attention to this and actually look into it are the ones who were already smart enough to know that the whole...
He's just saying everything I was saying while he was talking. And it's exactly that, dude. It's the people who don't want to know what's inside that dossier won't even open up a page of that 320-page report. The people who are already well aware of what was happening behind the scenes without needing to see the 320-page report are going to be the only ones who even critically analyze it and go into all the specific details about it. So, maybe there'll be some righteous indignation ranked upon some people who probably lied. Maybe we can get some of that out of it. I don't know. Do you expect that there's going to be some kind of a witch hunt for the people who pushed this, and absorbed so many taxpayer dollars, took away so much of the government time and attention and ire away from things that truly matter? Doubtful. Extremely doubtful. They'll expect you to keep paying all your taxes and you be a righteous, good citizen while they sit there and commit some of the most egregious political crimes you can imagine. It's sad stuff. Have I seen the recent Levi ads? I have not. I have not seen the recent Levi ads. Let me, I can try. And pull it up right here on Twitter. Levi ads. Oh my gosh. Is this what you mean? Oh man, not that. I don't even look at that. This what you mean? Oh, I can't get it to scroll up anymore. Do this. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like they're trying to eliminate gender. Which one's the man in that photo? Which one's the woman? Are they either or both? None. I don't know, dude. It's creepy stuff. Is there more? Oh, this must be what she was saying. Let's listen to this.
Levi's introducing Levi Woes. Sizeless, style neutral, gender non-conforming denim for a generation that defies labels. Levi's heard that if you're not woke,
Oh, that's not an actual commercial. SNL did a skit?
it's bad. So we made these.
Defining someone by their style? That's offensive.
That's why Levi Wokes have no style.
What's my size?
That Pete
Why don't
Davidson?
you
Yeah,
start
it is.
asking me about my accomplishments?
My wolves
Oh
are
my
size
gosh.
me.
They fit everybody.
Because they fit nobody.
This has to be
What colors
old.
do they come in?
Colors? I'm triggered.
This color. Can you label this color?
That is the
So is there an actual video? Or is it just that they ran a recent ad campaign? Going out in style. Let's see, this is all from February 2nd of this year. Let's look at this.
Pick it up, mister! Woo! Yeah! I said yeah! I said yeah! What they say? One time!
This don't seem too bad.
me! Two times!
I mean, I don't think they're selling to their normal markets, if you ask me.
Was my number right now?
I guess I've seen worse. That one picture though is pretty awful. The one that I just saw on Twitter. That one. I agree. But it's all, I mean, at this point, it's every single one, dude. It's every single company now. Yeah, cut this down some. Yeah, hopefully the link works, Kukla. I hope it did for your sake. Would love to have you in the Discord, my friend. I'd like to get that building and moving. So, let's see, are there any more videos here? I actually love Toots and the Mytos. He said I didn't actually see the link. I'm very sorry. Can you post it here? Kukla, try going in the description of this live. There should be somewhere, whether you're watching on mobile or desktop or TV, there should be some spot that literally says like see more. I hope the links are all in there. Or at least it looks like they are on my end. Let's see more of these ads here. No. Big sad. Can I directly post a link? Let me try this. Let me try using some magic skills. Because okay. Let me try this, Kukla. I don't know if it'll work though. Oh yeah, it will. I can click on it at least. That should be a direct link take you to the welcome channel, my friend. I hope that gets you in there. Looks like Levi's has a lot of these ads though. At least a lot of these very what would you call that? Not woke, but they're diversity, that's for sure. That's what they are. Oh, it's on my homepage. Kukla, let me know if that link works. I see it on my end. I hope that you see it on your end. Who comedies and comedies activism? This I'm going to go out on a limb because she looks very similar. This is the girl from the Miller Lite commercial. And I'm assuming we're about to listen to an insanely woke joke, given the caption from Myth Informed.
One thing that gives me hope is the gender non-conforming youth.
Immediately woke.
I think it is amazing. I find it just incredible to see these young people have the agency to say, I am non-binary. I don't have that kind of agency, and I literally have agents. One thing that...
Yes, that wasn't funny at all. That is indeed true. That was not funny. I see it and it seems to work for me. Okay. Well, at least we know it works. Kukla, I would do it for you, but I can't reach your computer from here. Ashley St. Clair, 37 seconds ago, saying, out of all the issues plaguing humanity, they're currently asking Elon Musk why he tweeted. Yeah. Let's see what's the reply to this. Out of all the issues plaguing humanity, they're currently asking Elon Musk why he tweeted that George Soros reminds him of Magneto. Riveting journalism. Elon is Professor X, confirmed. You have to follow me on Twitter. I shit post a lot on Twitter. I try to get the people going on Twitter. And I did want to watch the Dave Chappelle skit at some point too. Apparently he rips apart San Fran. Let's see where I'm at. Hour and 17 minutes. Okay, go ahead and cut it here. I gotta go start doing some audio book auditions through ACX. I might stream again later on tonight. If I do, I'll try to schedule it so you guys see a notification. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you, Kukla. Thank you, everyone else who was here watching and participating and then liked the chats as well. I appreciate that very much. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. If I don't see you again, and let's hope we can hold the line. Peace out, everybody.